what these players' profiles start looking like. When we ask the question, and there's 13 clusters, I believe, around the world, the green represents the world as it is. When we ask people about being successful and how should you be against this dimension, you can see that everybody in the world knows that they have to become much more performance-oriented. And there's lots of challenges in trying to make that happen. So really, some of the key lessons from Globe is be aware of your cultural lens. The cultural immune system is interesting because a lot of times when you ask people to describe Americans, just visualize for a second how you think people describe Americans. And when an American business person goes over and very often lives up to that negative expectation quickly, they really shut the other person down. So you got to be aware of that and have sensitivity to it. And once again, understand the similarities. A lot of times we find in corporations today that people say, oh, we want to be flat, we want to have egalitarian, team-based organizations. But the reality is certain cultures are used to being managed in certain ways. And it takes time to get people in certain cultures to understand the new world of management. And as you can see, there are countries, when we look at the globe, where the boss is the boss, the teacher's the teacher, the parent's the parent. And then there's other countries that are a little less hierarchical and more open for a more open type of leadership and working together. We believe that the leadership model is moving from the old control and command model of the past, which is on my left, and to really what we call the leadership style of the future. A leader today has to do many things, and they really have to stop being the pilot and become the air traffic controller. They're running big, complex, integrated organizations, so they have to really depend on people to get the job done. This is a little complex, but the idea is that it's a journey when you start at the old model and work to the new model, which is number 5. The new model is really high interdependent, highly leveraged. The process of leadership, what's leadership? Leadership is the ability to influence people. Influence people that influence people that influence people that influence people that get the right things done. And how you influence somebody that's different than you takes knowledge. So let's look at what really effective managers do today. Most importantly, they can perceive, analyze, and decode complex global situations, and they have to do it fast. They can accurately identify effective managerial action. They're going to figure out what to do, and they have to have the behavioral skills to get people to work with them to go out there and get the things done. So, corporations that are successful, they understand the game, they understand the rules, and they understand how to win. To do that, they have to have leaders who are effective in influencing people from different social economic systems. They have to have people who possess the behavioral flexibility to act appropriately. And they have to have individuals who are capable of perceiving, analyzing, and decoding the global operating environment, and individuals who can accurately identify managerial action. To do that, they have to have a global mindset. And a global mindset consists of 3 capitals: intellectual capital, psychological capital, social capital. Okay. Global mindset is simply the ability to influence people, organizations, and systems that are different than you are. And we're very proud that we have built a test at Thunderbird, the first one of its kind. You can take a self-assessment and see what your own abilities are and where your strengths and opportunities for improvement are. Or you can also take a 360-degree test where your boss can tell you what he or she sees. You rate yourself, your peers rate yourself, your subordinates rate yourself. Excuse me. So we believe that corporations need a high stock of global mindset wherever they're located. I do a lot of work for LG in Korea, and LG's challenges how do we become a global company? Well, we have to start running it with just Koreans. So there's a lot of challenge in figuring out how do you really shift to do that. In the past, 2000, we asked, everybody has these competency models, all those things they think executives need. Well, in 2000, if you look at things like Face Globally, these are profiles of high potential people. Wasn't really very important. 2005 became more important. And in the future, it's going to be extremely important. Now, these competencies are good, okay, but they're what got us to where we are, and we believe there's a higher level of construct that people are going to need to have all over the world. And one of our challenges is going to be to help these Generation X and Millennials really develop the intellectual, social, and psychological skills to work in the modern world. So global mindset is really made up of these three major buckets: global business savvy, cognitive complexity, cosmopolitan outlook. Cognitive complexity is a very important one, because what that is, that's the ability to go in a complex, multicultural situation, analyze, decode, and decide managerial action. Two things often happen with Americans that are overseas for the first time. They either get overwhelmed and paralyzed, or they say, you know what, we know the answer, which really cuts the other person off a little bit. Psychological capital, passion for diversity, quest for adventure, self-assurance. And social capital are things like intercultural empathy, interpersonal impact, and diplomacy. The good news is, particularly for business schools, the intellectual stuff can be learned, right? That's stuff that you can really teach people. The psychological capital is very, very difficult to change for people. But we believe if you fix this, and if you fix this, you can shift this, and you build capability in a person to be much more effective anywhere on the globe. And we can create an opportunity for people who are different to work anywhere with anyone from anywhere. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see all the types of things that are under intellectual capital. Things like knowledge of the global industry, knowledge of other cultures, etc. And I did give you a little survey. It's not the Global Mindset Inventory, but it's an example of some of the kinds of questions we asked in the inventory. And when people take that, they know what it is that they have to work on, and we can help executives accelerate the development of these young people.